I got a curly one for you, Tom.
Mm.
What is the worst thing that an ex would say about you?
Oh, too generous a lover, probably. But that's
Fuck you. No,
no, as
be
I
real.
desperately scramble for time. I don't know. Probably I've alluded to episodes gone by about how I used to have a nearly default anger state in the way I approached. So it's probably a personal fault rather than anything too malicious in the relationship. But responding to not aggressive anger at anyone, but it's at the universe.
Yeah,
this is what I'm talking about. It's why can't they ever have an so maybe that as I've aged I've hit 30 and I've simmered down from the hot-headed, not ultra hot-headed young man, but a little steamy headed. So that might be one. Do I dare throw it back at you, Elizabeth?
I mean, you can. They'd probably all say crazy because I date narcissists and they say all their exes are crazy.
I forgot that you date men and men call their exes crazy.
Yes,
That's
no,
the
but
way
if
it
they
goes.
were being
Yes.
honest, I probably think the thing that they would find most annoying about me is that I can't let arguments lie. Like I can't, when someone's like, I need space to process this.
Yes.
My anxiety doesn't allow me to give someone space, so I will legit follow them into the next room to finish the argument so that I'm not sitting in the next room panicking. And I know that's not great because some people need space and some people need resolution. And you just got to figure out.
We've since discovered on this here podcast that it is okay to sort of say, all right, we need 24 hours apart to have a
And as a more mature human, I have now realized this because it just makes other people think that you're never going to let anything go if you don't respect their boundaries.
And then I'm betting they're more unlikely going forward to bring up issues or confront
exactly,
or
which
help
leads to
or
a
whatever.
whole lot of communication breakdowns.
It's the snowball effect, and just ironing out your communication, boys and girls, and all and sundry, will help, I suppose, dissipate that snowball a little bit.
Absolutely.
You can take some of the oomph out of that impeding avalanche.
Well, welcome to Ghosts of Boyfriends Past.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Liz Best.
And Tom Harris. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I know you were asking everybody else, so I just thought I'd let you know
you're the only
I'm
one
doing well.
You're the only one that can answer. But everyone at home, on the bus, at work, wherever you're listening, in the gym, how are you? Answer now. Fantastic.
Cool.
Fantastic.
I worry about one of you.
Yeah,
but the rest of you, cool.
Put that potato chip bag down, all right?
No, pick that potato chip bag up.
No.
You shovel that thing into your mouth because it's Christmas and Christmas calories don't count. I actually don't know when this episode's coming out. So the whole festive season lasts till the end of January, so you shovel those chips in your mouth, my friend.
It's a free pass from Elizabeth Best. Congratulations.
Tell your nutritionist I said it was
all.
okay. So today it is a main episode and we have a guest in our studios right now. Now this is a guest who has written in a couple of times, but due to whatever technology screw up the internet wanted to throw at us, did not get my repeated emails saying, dear God, please come in. Loved your story. Would love to have you on as a guest. But because they were part of our Ghosts of Boyfriends Past group therapy group, I was able to track them down and invite them in.
Nudge,
If
everybody.
that's not a good advertisement, I don't know what is. So please welcome fan of the podcast, Annie.
Hello, Annie.
Hi. How are we going?
Good. Thank you so much for coming in.
Excited.
I appreciate it very much. We've since put a little phone number section in the form so that we can actually phone people when emails decide to go awry now.
If you, we adapt and change as well. We learn and grow on this here podcast.
I mean, we try.
We try and make life easier for everybody. Now, those readers who are joining us for the very first time, Ghosts of Boyfriends Past. What's the mission statement, Liz? We get a guest on,
yes,
and they share a story,
yes,
from a relationship gone by. It can be a fling, it can be a serious 10-year commitment,
anything.
A marriage, whatever it is. We, our lovely guest Annie, will share their story. We unpack it. We slap on some rules at the beginning. What did we learn at the end? And we wrap it all up with a nice little bow. You just don't know the droves of listeners that just join us.
This could be your first listen. So because this could be your first listen, we're going to go through the rules.
Yes.
So Annie, the rules that we have, the first rule obviously is that you need to have an alias for anybody that you're talking about, just so that we just avoid getting ourselves into shit. There's lawyers in the corner nodding their heads and saying, we need to make sure about that.
Yeah, that's right. And we use that rule to line up the second rule. If those of you who figure out who Annie is and who she's talking about in her stories today, it's no doxing, no sharing of real names, real workplaces,
so don't be a
addresses.
dick rule.
Yeah,
like,
don't ruin it for us.
We do. This podcast exists because people come here and be vulnerable and share their stories, and we don't want to ruin the party because we could get in trouble, you could get in trouble. There's just trouble, okay?
That's right.
Lots of trouble.
And then what are you going to look forward to once a week, huh?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Life is not worth it.
You've ruined it for yourselves. Well done. And finally, Annie, it's a rule for everyone, not just for you. No threats on mic, please.
On mic.
We didn't see you come in and go, whoops, geez, better bring
We just made that rule for you.
Done.
So
try my best.
that's kind of our housekeeping out of the way, Annie. And we'll sort of lob it gently over to you for you to take the ball and run with, I suppose, in your own time and in your own words.
Yeah, so tell us, like, start at the very beginning for us.
Yeah, so we're going to call him Chris.
Chris, okay.
Yeah, meaning traveller.
Right.
Somewhat. So would have been late May 2019. Met this beautiful man on the plane.
Aha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Neither of us were supposed to be on that flight.
Fate stepping in.
Really
I've
exciting.
always imagined meeting someone on a plane just quickly. That always seems like a TV show film kind of.
I know,
arena.
and then you
and
hear
now
like
here you come. Wow.
And Sophie Monk met her fiance on a plane too. They were on a plane and then they just started making out. And I was like, that doesn't fucking happen. That doesn't happen.
It happens.
I mean, when you look like Sophie Monk, it happens. Here we go.
Apparently it happens according
We have
to...
first hand. Okay, let's.
Here we go. I'll lean back in my chair and let's listen. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was beautiful. I don't know. Everything about him just dropped me to my knees. I was like, oh my God, I have to know more about this man. He walked on, brushed past me. He just locked eyes with me and like giggled as well. So it was really cute. I don't know. He had like a blush in his giggle and
That's
smile.
boyish charm
Yeah,
right
isn't
there.
it?
Ugh.
She's blushing even now.
Yes, I think all four of us in this room need a fan. Yes.
Yeah, it was beautiful. He was really shy, but I did notice him look at me a lot. Yeah, so he was paying
Right, so
attention.
you had an early indication that hang on,
Yeah,
there
our
might be
connection.
something here.
Yeah, we
Right.
definitely had a spark.
Mm.
Yeah, so to speak. So we were traveling from Cairns to Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't any like conversations throughout the flight, but I did hear him speak briefly. He just ordered a cup of tea, you know, and I was kind of surprised he had a British accent. So I thought, oh, just another British backpacker, you
Yeah.
know, like
no.
this is Cairns,
They're
I'm flying.
They're
from,
a dime a
like,
dozen over
yeah.
here. Yep.
Gilligan's, yeah, British backpacker for sure. And some later along the line, towards the end of the flight, he handed me a napkin with his phone number on it.
Oh, that's cute.
It was cute.
It like again, it's a TV move, and I'm into it.
Yeah, it was really
Hallmark
sweet.
movie me up, friends. This
And
is great.
I think that's good advice for men. Don't ask for a number, give yours.
Yes,
Is that a good?
I agree with
Yeah,
that
that
because then
seems
that
good.
puts the power in the other person's hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's cooler as well, isn't
Yeah.
it? Here, have this rather than can I have your number? Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
just don't say it like that.
Oh, that's where
That's where you're going
I
wrong,
see.
Tom.
My bad.
But there were older ladies sitting behind us, and they were just giggling the whole flight. Like they knew there was
Right.
something going on here. Yeah. And it was really cute because when we were disembarking the flight into Melbourne, the old ladies were just like, ooh, love is in the air. Like, you know, yeah.
You've even got a great chorus. I love it.
It was really cute. Just didn't stop talking about him. I was so excited about his number. I sent him a message pretty much straight away.
Yeah, you know what? I'm all for that. If you want something, just do it. No playing games. No, like I've got to wait 3 days. None of that shit.
Yeah, these old.
No 2 days between texts.
Nah.
Just
Sure.
get straight into it.
Communicate.
Yeah. And so my first message to him, just one word, handsome. Like that was it.
Oh, that's
Like,
cute too. Oh, stop it! I'm smiling. I like this story
you-
so far.
She's having a ball. Great.
Must
yeah.
mean that this guy's an asshole because I'm into it. Anyway, keep going.
For the record, not an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty intense story. I remember like we probably texted from say 10:30 in the morning till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
The next day. Like it was
Wow.
a consistent text, getting to know each other really quickly actually. I think what my first question was, so what's your story, Chris? Like,
Yeah.
tell me. That's a loaded question.
Yes.
Yeah, hard to answer.
It is, because you're like, you know, it's easy to answer if you know someone a little bit better, but like at what point of your story do you start? How much of this story do you want? How much of
Yeah.
this story are you going to stay here for?
Yeah. So basically, I think I didn't ask much more, but he answered it well. He told me, "Oh yeah, I recently moved, to Cairns to be with my family on a working holiday visa. I'm planning on extending for my second year visa. I've been here for 6 or so months now." And he was moving to Melbourne to work in Mount Buller Ski Resort.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was still living in Cairns, so we only communicated via message, and it was good. We talked a lot, got to know each other really quickly, and then 2 days later, we scheduled a phone call, and we spoke for 3 hours on the phone, and I was meant to be going to bed early, but that
No,
didn't
out the window.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Out
yep.
the window.
yeah. And loved his little Pommy accent, but, didn't really pick up on how terrible he spoke as well. Like says, you was good instead of you are good,
Yeah.
Yes, for inventing
was.
the English language, the Poms swiftly went around ruining it.
It depends where they're from. I think.
To be fair, as did Australians. So
Yeah.
we're
Oh
all-
God,
we're-
we've bastardized it.
Yeah. So it was just a strange series of events that led us to meet each other because neither of us were supposed to be there. I think my plans changed within 30 minutes. Like I just went straight in to the flight, and then he was meant to be on the later flight that evening, but ended up being early and coming in early. So we were just like, what? How's this even happening?
Serendipity. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, that happened. We spoke for a couple of weeks, made plans to meet each other face to face. So I flew from Cairns to Melbourne. I think it would have been a Saturday or a Friday. And we met in the terminal. Like he borrowed his friend's car, drove from Mount Buller to Melbourne. We got an Airbnb. He picked me up from the airport, and we were just like so excited to be finally in the presence of each other because we were just like so super attracted to each other, and like everything about us, such a good connection. Then on our drive from the airport to the Airbnb, we saw this car and it had a number plate on it, and it said, "I love insert Chris's last name." And like he has a super uncommon last name. And it was
Right.
just the weirdest thing.
The
Yeah.
universe is on board at this point.
And at this point, you're going, come on, this is all too
Yeah.
weird and good, isn't it?
and I
What's
know I
going
asked
on
for a
here?
sign, but do you have any more? Like a sign?
Yeah,
A sign?
and I didn't ask for this. Like this wasn't planned in my day or my life or my year.
Yeah, so we took a picture of it.
Yes,
Of
of course.
course, great,
Commemorate
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot.
Yes.
All the strange coincidences that, brought us together and made us really giddy, Yeah, so we bonded over everything. Our first night together was super incredible. We got to know each other. The more we got to know each other, like the more intense our emotions grew for each other, and it was actually really hard to leave Melbourne.
Well, yeah, you would have been in a little love bubble.
Yeah.
Like,
And how long
no
did
one
you...
wants to burst that.
I was only there for like 24 hours, if
Oh,
that. Yeah.
I was picturing 5 days, a week, so fly in, time together,
Yep.
and then you're out of there.
Yeah,
Gee.
had no time. It was a good time though, and yeah, we would talk on the phone all the time, so it didn't really feel like we were that far apart. But you know how annoying it is to not touch the
Yes.
person.
Yes, especially once you've touched the person.
Yeah.
Like, you can have all this blind date chemistry, whatever, but if you are aware that the person that you like, you've got in-person zing with, and then you can't be with that person, that's a special kind of torture.
Oh, it is hard. Yeah. Yeah. So my flight back to Cairns was hard. I had to go via Brisbane and wait there for a few hours because the flights were so full because it was the Ironman weekend.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and made it back to Cairns, and we then made plans to like meet each other again a few weeks later. And I was actually moving from Cairns to Brisbane. So we met in late May, and I was moving end of June.
Great.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had plans to to have my girlfriend drive with me from Cairns to Brisbane.
I've done that drive before.
It's a long one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Over 3 days. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did it over 2 days, 22 hours.
Jeez.
Had the dogs. I have 2 large dogs.
God.
They were in the back of the car, and we, so I'll get there. But I had plans for my friend to drive with us. Something came up. She couldn't get anyone to look after her animals at the time. So he was like, I'll do it, Yeah. So he flew from Melbourne to Cairns, and that was the first time we actually spent more than 24 hours together. Yeah. So we did the drive. He helped me pack my house up. We slept on a mattress on the floor because the house was empty. The removals had come already. The drive to Brisbane was interesting. I think we had a couple of arguments. Yeah.
It's a pressure cooker. Like there are literally plays that exist about people in cars and how that's a pressure cooker situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially, and then you combine that with moving house.
Yes.
Oh.
My
that's
stress
double.
levels were really high.
Yes.
Yeah, my emotions were a bit all over the shop, I think. A lot of stress. And I'd get frustrated. We went through a Hungry Jack's drive-through because we both have pretty restrictive diets when it comes to fast food. And so we just went through Hungry Jack's, and he would go the wrong way through the drive-through, and I'd be like, Chris, what are you doing? Like,
how do you go the wrong way to a drive-through?
Yeah, and I want to know.
How does one do this?
I want to know, did he drive down the wrong way or did he reverse down?
I don't know. I just remember being annoyed.
Yeah, and you're sitting there like, what are you doing?
I'm like, why?
How can you be? Yeah.
I'm like, please let me drive now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we stopped at a motel halfway, I think just outside of Mackay, and it was horrible.
They're always horrible.
It said it was dog friendly, and we get there and the guy at reception's like, no, your dogs are too big to go inside. They have to stay outside. And we're just like, what?
Your sign doesn't say small dog friendly.
It says dog friendly. I paid for the night. So
another little pain in the arse gets chipped on top.
Yeah, so I think when we got into the hotel room, I just cried because I was like, no.
Yeah.
And this whole time, my dog didn't take a poop because he doesn't like pooping and if he's on the leash or whatever.
And that's stressful
2
too.
days. Yeah. So I don't know. It was nice though to spend the time together. We got to my new house in Brisbane and he helped me unpack, settle in, and I think 5 days later he left. Went back to Melbourne. It was a hard goodbye again.
So those 5 days kind of you picked the mood up from where we were on road trip land.
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster of my emotions.
Yes.
He was really consistent. Like he was always super calm and super loving and really supportive. But I had no idea how to handle my emotions. Like moving house. I'd also gone through, had ended a long-term relationship maybe 6 months before we met.
Yeah.
And that I didn't realize it had played a part in it.
Yeah. You
but
kind
it
of
did.
don't realize that you've got baggage until you're going, why does my back hurt?
Yeah,
I'm
that's right.
carrying all this baggage.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
that
you
was
pack
really
this
difficult.
emotional baggage yourself, sir?
No, my ex packed it.
At the airport.
Yeah. It was hard. And I think I was working so much, like 50-hour weeks.
Jesus.
Yeah. Didn't have time for my dogs. I just felt so lost.
Right.
All of my friends were in Cairns as well. So I was just like, where is everyone? But my family was in Brisbane. So that was the most important part. Moved down because my mum was unwell, tried to be close to family, Yeah. And so when he went back to Melbourne, pretty much straight away, he was like, my second year visa application's coming up. I'm going to apply for it. I'm going to do it. I plan on being here in Australia. I want to be with you. Like,
oh, bless.
I want to marry you one day, basically. Like if you ever want to see someone cry at the end of the aisle, like when you're walking down the aisle as a queen, it'll be me.
Gee whiz,
That's a lot, but I love it.
Yeah,
it's quite the what is it? It's not an offer. It's a statement.
Yeah,
quite a statement. Reasonably early into the whole.
Yeah.
And I believed it definitely.
Of course you do, because that's how that works.
Well, I don't know. He was so beautiful to me. Like he would tell me how beautiful I am and how much he loves me. Like we exchanged I love yous pretty quickly. I reckon not long after that, those 5 or 6 days we'd spent together, and I was so excited to like tell all my friends about him and we had so many amazing pictures together. It was an exciting relationship, I think.
It sounds cute. It sounds fun. It sounds exciting. Bar driving from Cairns to Brisbane with the fella who, good luck to anyone doing that. Trust me.
I can't even do that with people I know and like a lot. Like, no.
Yeah.
I did Brisbane to Sydney and that was enough.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It was, I think our feelings for each other were really intense. I had never really felt that way before. And neither had he. And we had spoken about that. I think it got too much for me in the end. So he made plans to move to Brisbane, wanted to move in with me. I was all for it at first. I was like, yeah, this is great. Like, I've got someone that I love who's going to be here to support me and help me with the dogs, and like we can share all of our finances and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
We were both super into it.
This is where I'm going.
Ding, ding.
I would like to be in a relationship with someone for a long time before I go, you know what, this person can move in with me. Mostly because you don't know what your day-to-day lives are going to be like outside this whirlwind bubble.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
And
right.
he had never really settled down anywhere. Like, he had spent 4 years in Paris. He was a backpacker, you know. He traveled around working in hospitality and, pretty much just seeing the world. And that wasn't me. Like, I'd never done that. So, yeah.
So you're in the conversation of, is he living in Melbourne saying, I'm going to move to Brisbane? It's so you're in that point.
Yeah.
Does he make it up?
Yes, so he applies for jobs, he finds a job, and it sets into me really quickly. I'm like, what have I done? Like, yeah. So I did. I broke the news. I was like, I don't think we should move in together. Like, I think if you're going to move to Brisbane, you need to be able to live with somebody else. We need to be able to date. We need to be able to be friends.
Yes.
So
exactly.
it's a difficult thing to bring up, but probably it's the correct call in the
I
end
agree.
to say,
You've
hey,
got
hey,
to
hey,
know
hey,
that you can do the day-to-day of a relationship before you can get into domesticity.
Yes. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that our emotions and intensity just totally overrid all of our reality, basically.
It's so seductive. It's
It
so
is,
seductive.
especially when someone's like, I'm going to cry when you walk down the aisle as a
God.
queen. You're just like, oh my God, I'm dying. Please move in with me. Have all my finances.
And
Yes.
Annie, when you said, Brisbane, yes, not together, did he take that well? Did he take that on board?
He didn't take it well. He got quite upset about it.
He
But he
assumed
did
you were
understand, though. Yes.
Okay, so he
So
didn't-
I did pull away a little bit. I was like, this is too intense for me. We need to slow things down, please. And he was like, I don't know how to do that. Like, we've already jumped in this far. How do we take a step back? Like, I can't
You
do
just
that.
start walking instead of running.
Yeah. How do
Yeah.
you
A
stop
Stroll
running?
is fine.
That's right.
So it was not, I never really was like, oh, let's stop. It was just a, please, can we slow this down? Like, I'm feeling really intense.
Yeah.
I'm in a new home now. Like, I'm
Lots of change.
so
Very
many changes,
fast.
so many changes. New job, like new colleagues, new friends. Hadn't seen my family in 4 or 5 years, really. Like, I'd spent a couple of times with them, but not like I wasn't close with my sisters, whereas now they're like my best friends, you know?
Good.
Yeah. He didn't take that news well, and it was hard actually for us to communicate because he was always sad. He was always like, no, I just feel like this, you don't want me, basically.
And it's, look, having been on both sides of that, let's run headfirst into the future coin, it does feel like somebody's changing their mind on you when they just ask to go a bit slower, even though that might not be the case.
Yeah, it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, driving on the you do 100 miles an hour on the highway, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to 60,
And
in
it
a-
feels like the
and it
slowest
feels
pace
like you're
you've ever
going,
gone
and you're
in a
sitting
car.
there going, come on, let's go, wanting to mow down everyone in front of your bar. But it's the same. So it's the same.
And
That's
60 is
feeling.
pretty fast, actually. It
is.
You know?
You're still moving to Brisbane. You know, we're still going quite
you're
quick.
still being in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's in Brisbane and sad.
No, he's still in Melbourne.
He's still in Melbourne.
Yeah, so he's still in Melbourne. Then he finds a job and he moves to Brisbane. He's already found a place to live and everything.
Oh, nice.
He really took so much initiative. Like, he actually found a great job, a management job, a place to live in like a share house sort of thing. So he comes to Brisbane. He's got all of his stuff. He's, snowboarder. So he's got this massive snowboard thing.
Handy in Brisbane. That will be.
As we're currently sitting here sweating in the studio, even though it's air conditioned.
Yeah. So that sat in the spare room, and we went to we met his new job, like his new managers, people he was going to work with, and went to this house he was supposed to move into, but it was not good.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was not good. And so I was like, it's fine. You can just stay with me for a little bit longer till you find somewhere else to live.
Sorry, my eyes are narrowing.
Yes. Elizabeth and I have had the same brainwave in the past 30 seconds. Are we going to address that now? Or are we
No,
going to let
keep
that?
going.
Yes.
Keep going. I want to hear the story before I pass judgment.
No, honestly, the home wasn't nice.
Yeah. Oh no. And I've had this happen to me before, where an ex of mine was like, "Oh, but my living conditions are so awful," and I was like, "Come stay with me till you find a place."
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yeah. No, the house wasn't good. It had like cat food everywhere. Ew. It just smelled. It wasn't nice. It was not as advertised. So, Chris, really assertive person, was like, "This isn't acceptable. I want all my bond back. I'm not moving in." The guy was pretty good about it. It didn't take long actually for him to find another place to live.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I reckon maybe a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe
Good
a little
man.
bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah. That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah. No, he's really assertive. He really wanted to make this work.
Yeah.
So he did everything that he could.
And
yeah.
are you calling yourselves are you in a relationship at this point? Are you boyfriend and I don't know. Is there labels on it and all that?
So I
all
think
that good stuff?
initially he would text me and say, I speak about you to my friends, and I call you my girlfriend, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
like, yeah. But then later on I was like, no, we're not actually in a relationship. Like, we're still teething. We still need to get to know each other.
Right.
We have to date first. And so I guess he didn't like that.
No.
No. And I
Because again,
understand.
that feels like a step back.
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. And I understand, but it didn't really matter how much I tried to explain my emotions and how overwhelmed I was. He didn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really hard. And I was really impulsive in like my responses, and he would tell me so many amazing things that he loved about me, and he was the sweetest person, and my responses were just stonewalling and like breadcrummy, and I was like,
Were you in
I
a bit
don't
of a fight or
accept
flight
this.
kind of
I don't know,
vibe?
Because
Because it's like a fight, flight, or freeze
Yeah.
when you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And everything just becomes like a robot glitchy kind of.
Yeah.
It sounds
I
like
was
freeze.
very-
You're waiting
Yeah.
for more information. You're waiting
Yeah.
for more input.
Yeah.
You're not. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, but more. I need more time, or
Yeah.
more space,
Yeah.
or more time with you. Yeah.
Computing.
Yeah, like, I just need to take it slow. And he would send me paragraphs every single morning for me to wake up to. Like, it was too intense for me. And I
Yeah.
did say that. And yeah, he sent
Okay.
me this beautiful message about how he feels about me. And I think I responded by bringing up his ex-girlfriend. So I didn't even
honey.
acknowledge what he had
It's
to
not
say.
gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna go well. Okay.
Yeah, I just completely shut it down, didn't accept it. And I think I genuinely didn't know how to accept
Yeah.
his love. Like, I was like, it's too much for me. I'm not coping with this.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting conundrum because he's well and he's right to say to put up banners and get the marching
He's
band
also
into
not
town.
hearing her.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
So
allowed
there's
to
a-
do that, but she doesn't have to go, yes, and I will match you.
Yeah,
So
it's
an
one of those
interesting-
things where you're communicating at cross purposes. So to fulfill his anxiety, he's communicating with you in the way that he needs to be communicated to. So he's giving you way too much because that's what he needs.
Yeah, pretty
Whereas
much.
you need less, and so you're both trying to do the thing that will allay your own anxiety qualities, but they don't match up.
Yeah, so in our time together in the home, I felt really smothered, and I felt like my independence that I'd had for the last 6 months was just taken away from me. Yep.
Yeah.
That was really difficult. I
And
think.
so what happens from this point onwards?
So it was coming up to my birthday, and he kept asking me, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And I was like, "Nothing. I don't want to do anything for my birthday." And what my best friend messaged me, and she was like, "He's coming around now with flowers, just giving you a heads up." And you know,
Did you hide?
I locked the door and I went to Coles. Like, I just avoided it.
Oh, wow. That is definitely a fight or flight response.
Yes,
Run away!
we've moved on from freeze, and we found our legs, and we've left. Wow.
Yeah. I went to Coles. I came back to the house, and don't worry, it got me back because I'd actually locked myself out.
Oh, no. The universe that had given you so many signs decided, right, here's another sign, stay outside.
Yeah, but the flowers were beautiful, and the note had a reference to our favourite book that we actually read together.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before, and it's something really meaningful about that.
Yeah.
How do you forgive me? I've never read a book together with someone.
Well,
Are you saying
you
one
take
reads it
turns,
aloud, or
reading it out aloud to the other
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
fantastic?
There's something super intimate about it. Like the number of times where I would just like snuggle down and listen to him that I'm not going to name
Fantastic.
read stories to me. It's great.
Yeah. So we did that. We connected on that as well with the storytelling, and so his little note was, "I hope these flowers make you bloom," something like that, and then it said, "You are all the colours in one at full brightness." Which
My God,
is,
my heart.
It's
I know
sickly
this is
sweet.
Hallmark sickly, but I'm deprived of love, listeners. It's all making me feel happy. Why?
It's
Why?
effective. It's working.
Normally I'd be like, "Ugh," but today I'm just sucking it in like a sponge.
It's very nice. It's very nice.
It's really nice.
he genuinely loved me, and I was like, "Don't love me. This is a bad idea." Yeah, it was horrible.
And so post birthday, where do we go from here?
Yeah, so I just had a horrible birthday. It was not good. I got very drunk on my own. I ignored everybody's calls. I was just like, no, not happening. I was on annual leave.
Yep.
Yeah, didn't do anything. Mum was really unwell. She had a couple of heart attacks in like one day, basically. And I said this to Chris. He was like, "When are we going to go out for dinner?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm having a really hard time. Mum just had 3 heart attacks. I'm struggling." And then so he was like, "Well, you don't have to worry about me then, you know?"
Oh, that's a bit.
So he again wasn't listening, and I think
And your mother is so unwell. Like there's issues here in scale of importance, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's a
felt
very
Dinner
self-pitying.
going out to dinner versus my mother is quite unwell.
Well, I'll take myself off your plate of things you have to do then. Goodbye.
Yeah, that was hard for me as well.
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, go on then." Like,
Thanks.
You know.
Don't be supportive or anything. Just make me feel guilty. That's awesome.
Yeah, the guilt. I felt very guilty a lot of the time because I didn't know how to be intense anymore because I was too overwhelmed. My emotions were just like...
He wasn't listening to you though.
It was difficult.
And the amount of guilt when somebody is actually doing nice things and you're not receiving them because they're not in your love language, the guilt is pretty high because you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, so my patience wore thin. I was really snappy, impulsive remarks back. I felt like I wasn't a very nice person.
And at this point, how long has it been since you first met eyes on that aeroplane?
3 months.
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's living. So 3 months later, he's
In
living
Brisbane.
with you in Brisbane. Or
No,
sorry,
no.
forgive me. Sorry,
New
yes.
share house in
the new share
Brisbane,
house
but
in
has
Brisbane,
already talked about seeing her at the end of the aisle.
etc.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it
That's
was
a
really
lot.
intense.
That's
And
a lot.
I think also a couple of times he did violate boundaries, and
This is not a couple of times though. This whole story is about violating boundaries,
So-
but in a way that he's not doing it in an assholey way. He's
Yes.
doing it because he's trying to allay his own anxiety and get
and also
win you back. I don't know.
I wasn't very good at laying my boundaries. Like, I didn't know how to. I was just like, this is too much for me. I'm stressed.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, you need to, this is how I'm feeling. Please let me feel this way. Yeah, I'm just blowing up and he's going down and we're just going in opposite directions.
He's trying to fix it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And you're trying to fix it in the wrong way for each other.
Yes.
You're both trying to fix the situation for yourselves in a way that would work with another person, but not you.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I had always been pretty independent, and I didn't realize until, recently that probably had a lot of attachment issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my anxieties in relationships. I didn't accept anyone's love, really.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it, but I did believe how he felt for me, but I didn't know how to accept it.
Yeah. So how does this all play out?
I sense we're barreling towards a conclusion to this little story.
We organised a dinner date, as we said, and the day came. I didn't hear from him all day. And then I think maybe at the time, 6 o'clock, I think we said, he messaged me and he was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, I didn't hear from you, so I'm not going,
Oh, wow. So you had organised a time, but because he didn't message you through the day, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah, there was no, hey, are we still catching up? And neither of us hit each other up. So,
right.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, well, not going then.
Okay. Well, not how I would have handled it, but fair.
Didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So I think I did end up telling him that this wasn't going to work. It was so hard for him. He was crushed. Yeah. We broke it off. So he moved from Melbourne to Brisbane, and I think less than a month later, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, this is too much for me. You're not understanding me. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, and that was really hard for him. I think I blocked him on like all platforms,
Yeah.
Wowee. I think it was hard for him because he made it hard for him, right? He barreled into this position himself, and then you said, "Oh, it's not good." And then he's like, "Well, I'm in Brisbane now. I wanted to be in Melbourne." I think he made it hard for himself in an interesting way. You didn't help Annie, but it
did not help.
I think he was acting to a Hallmark movie script, and she was acting to a completely different movie script.
But in no way. I mean, you guys met going 100 k's on the highway.
Such a good story.
You pumped the brakes, and he got on a faster bullet train, right? In a way. And then at every junction, you said, "Hey, fella, let's cool it." And he went, "Nope, we're going."
Yeah.
So he didn't respond to your doubts, etc., as readily as he could have, I believe.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I have a slightly different take on it, but I want to know what Annie learnt from this first.
Yeah.
What's your lessons? What did you take away from this?
Yeah. Try not to jump into things.
Yeah.
Into love.
Look before you leap.
Pretty much. Date. Be friends before you become so much more than that.
Yeah.
We needed to be friends. Yeah.
I would angle that into just be cautious of that seductress mistress that is early electrifying those sparks, those early that whirlwind
Disney,
romance.
It's Hallmark.
Yeah.
It's you just need Elsa from Frozen to come and pump the brakes and say you're not getting married in the next couple of weeks. That's not how the world really works.
So I don't know what the solution is for when one party is racing ahead much more eager than the other.
The solution for both parties is to realize that people communicate in different styles, and that if you this is what I took away from it, is that if you're communicating in different languages and you don't understand the other language, then no one's going to understand anything, right?
Yes.
And that plays with love languages as well. So if you feel like you're in a relationship and someone is all in and someone's a bit hesitant, then the person who is all in needs to try and understand the love language that the other person's speaking, and the person who is backing away needs to communicate their needs.
I would yes and you
person.
and say it's knowing how to boundary set.
Yes.
Effective ways to boundary set.
Yes.
You didn't have your fences up on your property, so he just came barreling over it, going, I don't see the fence line. Yeah.
I've had some really good long-term relationships that started out. Actually, I've had no really good long-term relationships, but for the majority of it, when they were good,
Yes.
they did start from whirlwind.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
New relationship
Yeah,
energy.
like heady new relationship energy where you just feel dizzy and everything like that. And you like people can have successful relationships based on that, but again, it's just all about communicating what your needs are and realizing that if someone wants to pump the brakes, it doesn't mean that they don't like you. It just means that you need to go 60 and 100 zone sometimes for a
And
little while.
the person feeling that probably has to articulate that.
Yeah, and like it's all about like reassuring people in a way that they in a language they can understand.
Yeah,
I think.
reassurance. My communication now is I would never have imagined that I could communicate so well now.
So
And
you
set
learn a lot about
boundaries.
yourself.
Yeah,
through
I
this
think if
as
it
well.
wasn't for this relationship, I'd probably still be exactly the same.
Well, you turned a strange. Because it's not really a terribly negative story. It's not
No.
a fantastic one
It's a
either.
fantastic story. Yeah, all of our interactions since have been strangely coincidental as well. And we do talk every now and then, and they just always fall under weird circumstances, exactly like the day we met. Yeah.
Wow.
Just like weird universal happenings
Yeah.
that lead to you talking again.
Basically, like when I'd send him a message, he'd be like, "Oh my God, I literally today just met a who thinks it."
Whoa!
All right, there's a big.
Make a note of the time and we will
Addie.
bleep that out.
We built Bleep City. Here we
Yeah,
go.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who thinks?
So can I ask, are you seeing somebody now?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say, do you think the universe is trying to throw you back together once you've learned more about yourself? But
Yeah, and he did recently message me and say, "Look, I still would hope to marry you one day."
no, too much.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes. I'd like to
Yeah.
have a coffee with you.
That's
But
right.
yeah, I think that the way that we felt about each other was super intense and
Yeah.
never been felt since, so different. And I think, yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's back in the UK now. So there is a lot of distance
Yes.
between us.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Well, readers to this here little show, I want to first of all thank Annie for coming in and
Yes.
sharing today, and I want to let everyone else at home know I've had boundary conversations in my relationship, and you sort of you worry about it because you're like, oh, they have all these needs that they want, and why would they listen? But it's fine. It's okay, baby bear. You get through it the other side, and
It
you're like,
really
why
is.
was I bothered? Why was I stressing over that?
Even since starting this podcast, and even though I am very famously hella single,
Famously single.
I have even improved my communication with like friends and family
Yeah.
members because I'm after talking through people's relationship stories, I'm able to articulate what my needs are and not make it sound ultimatumy. Just be like, look, this is what I need to make me feel okay about this interaction.
Yep.
If you can do that, great. If you can't, then I might need to limit. You learn to make it about you and not about someone else's behavior because this
Yeah.
is a need that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's one of the most useful things. But look, if you would like to be like Annie and come on and be a guest on Ghosts of Boyfriends Past, you can send us an email at ghostsofboyfriendspast@gmail.com. Contact us on any of the social medias. You can go to that'snotcanon.com/Ghosts of Boyfriends Past and fill in our handy dandy little form that now has a space to put your phone number in. If you have emailed us to try and be a guest and you haven't heard from me, or you're like, where did that story go? What happened? Email me again and send me your phone number because clearly our email's having some issues. I don't know what it is. It's Gmail's fault, but there have been quite a few people who I've been trying to get in contact with to book into the new year. But yeah, feel free to hit us up on socials. And don't forget, we still have, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks left of our JBL competition. So if you write in to be a guest or write in a story for one of our mini-sodes, we can put you in the running to win a JBL Charge 5 portable speaker. It has amazing bass. It sounds fantastic. It's portable enough to chuck in a bag. It's really good quality and it charges your devices as
That's
well.
Right. They are the most handiest thing to have in your life. Whack them on while you're cooking, whack it on while you're cleaning.
Yeah,
Portable,
I
wireless.
pop my podcasts through it all the time. You just hook it up. It's easy. It's super, super easy. So yes, it is a competition of skill. I will be judging I guess I'll let Tom and Zane have some opinions, but it'll be mostly me.
No, we understand. We understand. understand how it goes.
Yeah. And then, if you basically write in the next month, probably, I think there's 2 or 3 weeks to go. I'll figure out what the end date is one day and I'll let you know. And you can win that prize.
Yeah.
Until then,
rate, review, share the show with someone. Someone in your life will benefit from this little show and communicate better.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.